I am Black and I'm American, but sometimes it feels like I'm not allowed to be both. I've grown up in vastly different neighborhoods that have shaped my mentality of America in contrasting ways. I was born in California. I lived here for the first 13 years of my life, and with that, I was exposed to a diverse world that I thought to be constant everywhere. Then I moved to rural Iowa, middle of nowhere. And the town I landed in had a stark lack of diversity and wasn't shy about it. That's when I discovered two things that weren't fully evident to me before. I am part of a minority, and I am different. Now, growing up, I always wanted to be different. I was told, if you want to be outstanding, you have to stand out. So I took that as a challenge. All of my classmates liked the color blue, so I chose to like the color red. Everyone liked Nike, so I chose Under Armour. I obsessed over choosing differently so I could be different. But Iowa was a new experience. I no longer had the option to be different. I already was. I spent 4 years there. And truthfully, it was hard. I was 15 and starting to come into my Blackness when George Floyd died. I consider myself to be strong-willed and extremely vocal. Before his death, I studied racism and hate and progress. But when he died, I needed to do something more. So I spoke. I co-hosted a podcast with my friend where him and I would talk about the state of racism in America. Soon after, I gave a speech at my school about my experiences with racism and how different America looks from my perspective. After that speech and after the podcasts, I kept asking myself a question. What does it mean to be Black and American at the same time? And that question led me to another question. Do we reclaim America or should we separate from it? Reclamation. Standing your ground, holding the flag, saying, we helped build this country, why should we give it away? But separation, that's walking away from a system that's rejected you for generations. It's about building something more of your own. I love this country. I just wish it identified with me as much as I identify with it. This internal quarrel forced me to look deeper. So I turned to two men who embodied this tension, Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Their philosophies don't just belong to the past. They speak directly to this question today. In their speeches, in their actions, and in their visions for Black people, they were wrestling with the same thing I've been wrestling with. How do we belong to a country that's never truly belonged to us? Malcolm X, in his early public life, was a fierce advocate for Black nationalism and separation. As a minister for the Nation of Islam, he urged Black Americans to reject any ties to a country that's never shown them humanity. He wasn't interested in asking for inclusion. He wanted liberation. In his eyes, integration wasn't progress. It was submission. Separation for Malcolm was a matter of survival. Why beg for a seat at a table that was never built for you? But Malcolm evolved. After his 1964 pilgrimage to Mecca, where he saw Muslims of all races united in faith, something shifted. He began to question the right racial lines and drew them in a different place. He believed that Black power, self-defense, and pride are still important, but he also believed that there should be solidarity beyond race. In The Ballot or Bullet, he clarified, I am not racist. I am not condemning any one race, but I am condemning the exploiters. His politics expanded. He was no less radical, but he had become rooted in shared humanity and global struggle. Malcolm spoke to the pain of a people denied dignity, safety, and truth. As he put it, you don't stick a man in the knife with a 9-inch blade and pull it out 6 inches and call that making progress. He didn't hate America. He hated oppression. And he didn't call for separation out of spite, but out of self-respect. Now, Martin Luther King took a different approach. He believed that America could be reclaimed, not because it was already just, but because justice was an unfulfilled promise. In Letter from Birmingham Jail, he wrote, "We will reach the goal of freedom because the goal of America is freedom." King's strategy was to hold America accountable for its own words, its constitution, its declaration, its creed. But don't let the "I have a dream" speech fool you. King's vision got shaped as the years went on. He knew that the political without the economic justice weren't enough. And eventually, his hopes dimmed. "I fear I am integrating my people into a burning house," he confessed, before his death. He had spent his life trying to redeem America. But even he began to wonder, what if the house we are trying to enter is already on fire? And what if belonging America means burning with it? That's the question I can't escape, because I want to believe in America. I want to reclaim it. But I'm also tired. Tired of begging, tired of being reminded I don't fully belong, tired of pretending that more time will fix the design that was broken from the beginning. Both men wanted the same things: dignity, freedom, safety, and self-determination. They just had different blueprints of how to get there. When I ask myself whether I should reclaim America or separate from it, I keep coming back to Malcolm and King. Not because they gave easy answers, but because they lived the tension I feel. So where does this leave me? Caught between reclamation and separation, between the dream of belonging and the fear that the house is still burning. I'm not sure I have the answer, but I know this: I'm tired of being treated like I don't belong. I am Black, I am American, and I claim both without needing permission. Not because I want to assimilate, not because I believe this country is perfect, but because this is where I want to be. I will not give up the flag, but I won't wave it blindly either. I hold it knowing what it's cost us. I hold it knowing we were never meant to. In the end, I cannot choose X or King. I listen to both. They teach me that love can be radical and anger can be rooted in hope. And maybe the future isn't about escaping the fire, but about learning how to survive, rebuild, and protect the people inside it. I'm not asking to belong. I'm showing up fully, loudly, and without apology. Because the future gets better when more people are part of the conversation. So I plan to keep speaking until the room hears me.